now in conversations with world-class CNU alumni. Our first panelist earned her Bachelor of Science in Education, major in Mathematics, diploma in 1989. Her Master of Arts in Education, major in Mathematics in 1992. And she has completed the academic requirements leading to a degree in Doctor in Education in 2000. She was the principal of Pitos National High School while she was still in the Philippines. She's the founder and managing director of the renowned biennial 8x8 Let's Get Vertical Invitational in Central Visayas, which is a very intense volleyball event. Friends and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Jojo Dimol-Ginay. Our next panelist obtained her Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, major in Mathematics in 1987, her Master of Arts in Education, Mathematics in 1990, and her Doctor in Education, major Educational Management in 2007. I was fortunate to be her colleague way back then because she used to be a professor and the board secretary of Cebu Normal University before migrating to the US. She is now a grade 1 teacher of Prince George County Public Schools in Maryland, USA. Please welcome Dr. Emilianita Aliego Hugazan. Our next panelist earned his Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in Mathematics degree from Cebu Normal University in 1999. He was the chairman of the International Educators Congress in November 2019, which was brought to us by the Association of Filipino American Teachers of America, or AFTA, and which was attended by teachers and school administrators from the US and the Philippines. This panelist is one of the rising stars of the New York City Department of Education, the assistant principal of Bronx International High School in the Bronx, New York, USA. Please welcome Mr. Melvin Damaulao. Introducing the next panelist will in a way give our audience an idea about my age and how long I have been in the field of education. He was my student and one of my leadership proteges when I was still a secondary school instructor of the then Cebu State College. He earned his high school diploma in 1991 and his Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree in 1995. He's a registered nurse and currently an assistant nurse manager of Kaiser Foundation Hospital, Walnut Creek Medical Center in Walnut Creek, California, USA. Please welcome Mr. Nixon Go. Analyst earned his Master of Arts in Education, major in Mathematics degree from Cebu Normal University in 1997. He was the pioneering principal of the Mandawi City National Science High School. He is the dynamic president of America's premier teacher organization, the Association of Filipino American Teachers of America Incorporated, which is a principal collaborator of the North America Alumni of Cebu Normal University in the annual conduct of the Balik Turo Program Lecture Series at CNU. He is currently a math teacher of New Utrecht High School of the New York City Department of Education. Please welcome Mr. Marcelo Inot. Can you believe that I have seen the next panelist when he was still a young boy and then when he was growing up? Both our mothers were very good friends. He was also in the 4th-year class when I started my teaching career. The class gave me my baptism of fire as a teacher and as an educator. It was their class that made me promise to myself that I must work hard and study more so that I will not stay long as a classroom teacher. He earned his elementary diploma from Cebu Normal University in 1984. He finished high school in 1988. The next time I know, he fell in love with his high school classmate Jerusha when he was in college, who of course became his wife. He became an attorney and we only reconnected with each other 3 years ago. He's currently an immigration attorney and he owns and operates the Montefalcon law offices in the Philippines and in the US. Please welcome Attorney Alberto G. Montefalcon Jr. The next panelist is a bit younger compared to me, but we were already friends when we were very young because both our fathers were part of Cebu's finest, the Intelligence or Detectives Division of the then Integrated National Police. He completed his kindergarten in 1976, elementary grades in 1982, high school in 1986, Bachelor of Science in Nursing with the then CSC-CMC Consortium in 1990, Master in Nursing in 1993. I'm sure that among us tonight is the only one and among the very few who is a CNU alumnus all the way from kindergarten to graduate school. We lost track for a long time, and the next time I know, his name is already appended with a string of degrees he has earned which are testaments of his hard work. That's what you do when you have a police officer for a father. He is the CEO and founder of iCare Psychiatry in Las Vegas, USA. Committee member of the National Council Licensure Examination or NCLEX for Nursing, a past president for 2 terms of the Nevada State Board of Nursing, and an assistant professor of the School of Nursing, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Please welcome Dr. Rigel A. Tan. Last but not the least, this panelist earned his Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree in 1990. He then became a lawyer, migrated to the US, and also successfully joined the New York Bar. He is currently a columnist of the Freeman Daily, a case manager of St. Peter's Health Partners in Albany, New York, USA. Being also an immigration attorney, he owns and operates the law office of Marco F. G. Tumakin in the Philippines and in the US. Lately, this panelist and myself have worked closely together to advocate for Filipino teachers who are in the US on J-1 visas. Friends, please welcome Attorney Marco F. G. Tumakin. And I am the moderator in this afternoon's conversations. I completed my elementary grades in 1976, earned my high school diploma in 1980. After finishing my college and master's degrees and one of my doctorates somewhere else, I enrolled again at CNU for my Master of Arts in Education in Special Education and finished it in 1992. I literally rose through the ranks in my profession, from a classroom teacher of the then Cebu State College to my being a vice president for academic affairs and dean of graduate school of an SVD-run Catholic college, to my being the assistant schools division superintendent of DepEd Division of Cebu Province. I hold a CESU 6 credential under the Philippine Career Executive Service Board. I am the CEO and founder of Pathways Education Consultancy, and I am presently an education administrator of the Division of Specialized Instruction and Student Support of the New York City Department of Education. My dear friends, mga kapamilya, kapatid at kapuso, I am Narisa Lionel Joy Tagucalo, and once again, I am your moderator for today's conversations. So we now start with the first question. What is the most significant learning that you have from CNU that has contributed to your personal and professional excellence and has better prepared you for life?
It's far more than significant learning. I thought Cebu Normal University has prepared me to be the best version of myself, personally and professionally, I would say. I would always remember Dr. Soliano telling me these sweet words when I was still a student in Cebu Normal University. Jojo, you're a star. I believed it then, and I still believe it. And I thought it wasn't only Dr. Soliano who made me feel that way. It was the institution who made me feel that way.
Okay, you're a star.
For me, everything that I have and everything that I am, I owe it from Cebu Normal University. CNU has the best professor any student can ask for. And because they are the best professors, they're also expecting the best from each one of us. They train us how to teach, and they also train us what to teach and how to teach. Differentiation then was, I would say, not the end thing, but Cebu Normal University Integrated Laboratory School already exposed us, the student teachers, in what we call the non-graded program, wherein we already accommodated the varying needs of the students. For example, in my case, I was handling the second or the level 2 math class. Students from 1st grade to 6th grade who had the ability of level 2 in math come to my class at a certain time of the day, and that is differentiation. And take note, that was way back then, late of 1980s. That's how CNU prepared me personally. CNU also instilled the values that we use or that we need to have in order to go through what life demands of us. The love for work hard, persevere, and don't give up. To be the love for our students, to be responsible for each student that comes along our way, to be compassionate. And I remember when I came here to the United States that one of my administrator told me that I am a nurturing teacher. I didn't realize that I have that because what I did, as far as I know, is I only showed what CNU trained me to be. So that's how CNU is to me. Everything that I have, everything that I am right now. And mind you, would you believe that during our time, even the handwriting was rated? Even the way how we walk was part of the grade. That's how Cebu Normal University was then. Total development of the person. And I'm so happy to be one of the students of CNU. Thank you.
For me, I'm so lucky to be part of the first batch of graduates from Cebu Normal University, which was in 1999. And I'm also very lucky to be a student of the stars of CNU, Ms. Jojo Dimal. She was my high school teacher. But going back to the question, CNU has taught me a lot of special skills and values that I believe are necessary to be successful in life. One of those values is being resourceful. So being able to meet the demands of the situation and finding clever ways to overcome difficulties, especially here in New York City. There are a lot of hurdles when you are in the classroom. And as I was teaching a lot of subject areas that are not even my major, I was able to teach chemistry, physics, because there was a need for a teacher for those subject areas when our school lost several teachers. But then being taught to be resourceful when I was a student teacher, that made me, look for ways and means to be able to hurdle the situations that was in front of me. CNU also taught me to be resilient. There was always the adversities as a student growing up in CNU, coming from a very poor family. So it was like a normal thing for me to be able to bounce back from any adversities that I was facing. And lastly, it was like the one more value is like adaptability, being able to adjust to new situations. And again, I would go back to my example, being thrown into a chemistry class, where in fact I'm a math teacher. it was hard for me, but then I was always able to adapt and to learn and to grow with my students. And to summarize it all, CNU was able to mold me to become the best teacher that I can be, and right now, being the best leader I can be for the students and for my colleagues.
Thank you, Melvin. And
Almost 17 years experience with Cebu Normal University, 4 years as a high school student, 4 years as a nursing student, and 9+ years as a faculty member of the College of Nursing. I can say that knowing how to be a good leader is the most significant learning I received from CNU. As a student, I was very involved in an officer in different campus organizations and student government. As a faculty member, I also had the opportunity to serve as an officer of the Faculty Association, and at one point became its president, which also gave me the rare honor and privilege to sit as member of the Board of Regents. Having served in these organizations and with membership from various socioeconomic backgrounds, it gave me a better understanding of different kinds of people. This helped me find ways in leading and uniting them to achieve common goals. In my current role as assistant nurse manager, we also call ourselves as nurse leader. And I use this learning from CNU in my day-to-day dealings with my colleagues, staff, and the patients under our care. I would be remiss if I will not take this opportunity to thank the mentors who have been a great influence to me while I was in CNU. That includes the late attorney Dr. Gavino Lomapas Jr., who was our principal in the secondary department of Cebu State College then. Of course, our moderator, Dr. Joy Kalob, being my advisor in junior and senior class, and to Dr. Hedy Limosnero, who was the first university president who hired me fresh out from passing the nursing board, and of course to Dr. Marcelo Lopez, the former senior president, who is also a nurse leader himself, who taught me how to become a good leader and as a good nurse. Thank you.
thank you, Nixon. Thank you.
Okay. Cebu Normal University has inculcated me the value of self-discipline and hard work, meeting deadlines, being punctual, and to value time. With the kind of education and training we had, I was able to survive here in the US, in the Big Apple, teaching in the US for 17 years now. CNU has equipped me with the necessary tools to persevere and become productive in my teaching profession. This is because Cebu Normal University has instilled in me how to cope with the demands of my work and to balance with my responsibilities for my family. This has challenged me to go above and beyond in everything I do. And I feel I am a successful teacher now because my students are successful in attaining their goals. CNU has prepared me to do greater tasks of not only touching the lives of the many of my students, but as well as the opportunity to serve in the community where I live. As the current president of the Association of Film Teachers of America Incorporated, or AFTA, the premier Filipino-American teacher organization in the US, is a rare opportunity, and it's an honor and a privilege for me to do the service. This responsibility comes with great pride and joy. Pride in the sense that in my simple ways, my leadership potentials are honed with the demands of greater responsibility and accountability in leading the hundreds of film teachers here in the United States. And it brings me happiness and fulfillment in serving others, because Cebu Normal University shaped me to become a servant leader. And I will continue to aspire in making a difference in others' lives.
Thank you. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank CNU for giving us this wonderful opportunity to be part of this forum. I am so honored to be part of a great panel of accomplished individuals. I was so delighted to receive the invite from, of course, my own senior high school advisor, Ma'am Joy Tago, somebody who I can say no, I could not say no to. There were too many highlights that I can think of as part of my significant learning from CNU. But let me just point on one specific system where when we were in elementary, we had this leveling in reading and math. Jai, I know Jai, you're smiling. We had to enter some placement tests that would put us on different levels on those two specific subjects, irrespective of your grade level. That means you can go from grade level 1 to a level 9 or level 10 in math and reading. And as you accomplish the challenges of that level, you get promoted to the next level higher. That by itself gave us that competitive spirit. And that's what I'd like to talk about. The best thing is that we were under competitive teachers. We were tasked to be competitive ourselves. But the thing is, we had not to compete with each other, but to compete with ourselves, just to get to that next higher level. That's what I needed to accomplish my own struggle to become a lawyer, from my political science days to my law degree and passing the Philippine bar. When we all came to the United States, and all you can share with this experience, we came as nobody. And I couldn't get a job as paralegal, obviously, because I didn't have a paralegal certificate. Plus, I was overqualified being a lawyer. I could not be hired as a lawyer, obviously, because I didn't have a bar license. But nonetheless, we had to struggle and compete from nothing. I started as a sales associate with a local JCPenney here in Sacramento, selling suits for men. But what I thought back then is that, yay, if I was going to do that, I have to be the best salesman in my floor. For that reason, I share this honor with the brave men and women and members of the LGBTQ community of CNU who have earned their rightful places in the various businesses and professions here in the US, more particularly those in the forefront of the current fight against COVID. Our nurses, other medical professionals, teachers, and law enforcement officers. I competed my way to becoming a real estate salesperson, a lawyer, a notary public, a real estate broker here in California, all by reason of the confidence that CNU has instilled in all of us. Confidence, not being cocky. That's something that, that's how always been ingrained on us. Just be confident and also exercise a good deal of humility.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you.
I'd like to greet the CNU community a happy 118th founding anniversary, and thank you so much for inviting us. Well, the significant contribution of CNU and me, I would say everything that I learned and passion in life, I learned it from CNU. And that is about 20 years of being a student, not even working. 2 years of kindergarten, 6 years of elementary, 4 years of high school, 4 years of bachelor's, 3 years of master's, and 1 year of deep Doctor of Public Administration class until I left for the US. So you could see, CNU has given me that passion to learn, that passion and the quest to be innovative and creative. Way back when I was in elementary years, Dr. Phil Magbas always instill with us creativity and how you do your best. Even I could relate to Mom Amy, the Zinner Blueser. Oh my God, that's all. I learned discipline to myself and to persevere and to go beyond what I can do today for tomorrow. So being the first Filipino elected Board of Nursing and then elected President of the Nevada State Board of Nursing, I learned that a lot from CNU, to be real, to be passionate of everything I do with a heart. Not only the passion to help others, but also the passion to be an example for others. And that I held so dearly in my heart. And I'm very proud to show that in our community here in Las Vegas, that I am a CNU alumni.
Yay! Attorney Marco, please.
So hi, first of all, thank you, Ma'am Joy, for inviting me to be part of this panel. No? And so to the rest of the panel, good evening. And to the CNU community, good morning or mayong hapon. whatever time of day this may find you. Um, this is the best part that when you are the last to speak in the group, because all your thoughts have already been said by everyone else. The only thing I could add, is I think I'm fortunate that I had 4 years of nursing education at CNU, and dili sa paghambog, but I guess we have, not guess, but I know we have one of the best nursing education in the Philippines. And during those 4 years, the very thing that really struck me is the the ideal that was inculcated in me, that is, you must know your purpose. Never lose sight of your purpose and why you're here. And that is to serve others, regardless whether you are a teacher, you're a nurse, you're a lawyer. I mean, that does not matter, kung sa mong status kinabuhi, but just know your purpose, and and you will do good things. One way to find your purpose is to do real life experience. And as nursing students, that's an everyday common experience for us. Okay, we go to the hospitals, we go to community settings, and that's where you really find the real life situations. Kung unsa ka pobre ang mga tao, kung unsa kalisod ang mga pasyente, o when you see patients between life and death, and wasla kapalit nga tambal, and you are there as a nursing student, you cannot do anything but just to be there and to understand their situation. And I think those are powerful experiences that dili na siya ma-experience nimo sa classroom lang. And I think mo na siya kind of experience that has an impact on me, and I know with Nixon, my classmate here, and also with the rest of the panel. And I think giving that experience and having that experience and being reinforced with the learning based on the experience from our professors, I think those are the kind of things that really molded us to become what we are. And that is not just to become nurses or lawyers or teachers for ourselves or for our communities, but for the world, I guess. So there's one saying there's one motto that I still recall in my CNU days, and that is, and it was even printed in our T-shirts sa PE or sa incomes. We do not just settle for mere getting by; we get ahead. So I think that's the constant mindset that we have at CNU, and we still bring until now. So for that, that's something that really is very powerful in us.
Thank you, Marco. And of course, I'm afraid that if I will wait for the responses for question number 5, and I will have a hard time doing a recap. But for number 1, I believe that all of us, all of you, the 8 panelists for tonight or today, CNU allowed you to be shining stars in your respective journeys. But of course, to become shining stars, you need focus, passion, and purpose. So thank you very much, and we will move on to question number 2. So friends, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the second question for this forum or panel discussion. My panelists, how do you define yourself as a lifelong learner?
As a lifelong learner, I see to it that I empty my cup, knowing that no one has the monopoly of everything. Every day for me is a quest for new insights, whether or not they're for immediate or future use. Thank you.
Never stop learning. No matter how old you are, no matter how long you've been in that profession, do not ever stop learning. Don't be just contented with what you already have. Everything is changing every single minute, and we have, as educators, we need to be abreast of what is going on around us. Just keep on learning. If you have the time and if you have the resources, pursue graduate education, postgraduate studies, or read books, articles, journals, online resources, any available resources that you have access to. You can also just observe from other people around you. We can learn from everybody around us, be they your co-workers, your administrators, your parents, even strangers, and most especially from our students. We keep on learning from them. We need to learn everything about them. We need to know what their likes are, dislikes. And there was even a time that I even asked my students to teach me their games and then play with them. Make use of this information in your advantage. Use this in your instruction. And sometimes I even use some of this information during the time that students are having some problems about controlling their temper. So this information can help them calm down because they know that you're interested in them. Seize every opportunity that you have to enrich yourselves. And there's a saying that says, keep on learning as long as you live, because life never stops teaching. So as the word suggests, lifelong learning, we will never stop learning as long as we live. Thank you.
I would have to agree to Mama Mai. I'm very lucky to be speaking after her because all that she said are actually the things that I have in my mind. But let me just emphasize what she has said. As a lifelong learner, I continue to thirst for knowledge. I grab every opportunity to learn and advance my professional career. After graduating from Cebu Normal University, I have had the opportunity to go into a scholarship and get a master's degree in Ateneo de Manila University. I was teaching then at Florencio Memorial National High School, and then my teachers were telling me, other teachers from that school were telling me, you should go. And I was kind of hesitant at the beginning. But then I realized, I have to grab this opportunity because this might not come again, a second time around. So I did, and I was able to finish my master's in Ateneo, my first master's. Then when I got to the US, an opportunity opened up again for me to go into school building leadership from the College of St. Rose, and I did, and I got my certificate from there also. And I realized that while I was teaching, I had a lot of special education students, and I thought to myself, why not prepare myself and be an educator that's also well-versed in dealing with special education students. So I had another master's from the University of the Visayas, which is from their program, which is ATF. So I got my second master's from UB. And the point of this is you never stop from learning, and you always continue improving yourself in terms of education and your professional growth. I learned from my students too. I learned from my colleagues. I learned from the teachers around me from the school. And now that I'm holding a different position at our school, being an assistant principal, I learned from the other assistant principals, and I learned from my principal, and I learned from the superintendent. So there's always these opportunities around you, and you just have to grab them and never stop yourself from learning. And to the point of Mama Mai also, you have, and I always do this, I have to keep abreast with the times and the developments. I was not so good in technology, admittedly, when I graduated from Cebu Normal University, because we were sharing computers way back then. This was in 1999. But then I tried to educate myself and be good with technology. And now that's probably one of my strengths. When teachers at our school are having trouble, they would always run to me and they would call me and they would because they know that I know. But then no one is teaching me. I'm exploring things. I'm in front of the computer, so I always do whatever I can, and if I have extra time. So just that, and keep on reading. Don't stop reading. I'm a reader. I'm a bookworm. So I have a lot of books in my room, even though books that I have read already. Then I would pick it up just so like to pass time, and then it's always good. And my advice also to our like viewers, don't just like scroll on Facebook and look at all this like face app things and anything like that. Make use of your time and like look at news feeds, like anything around you, be it politics and whatever. You'll learn a lot of things.
Thank you. And we move on to the next.
Okay, for me, it starts with acknowledging that I don't know it all, nor do I have the monopoly of truth, or that I'm always right. This motivates me to continue to learn more about life and to use it for the betterment, not just for myself, but also for others around me. Learning is an ongoing process, and whether it's formal or informal, as what Mama Mai mentioned, you could just learn from reading, you could go pursue graduate studies, and knowledge is also all around us, and it's always available. So when you say all around us, as mentioned by Melvin, you could also learn from people, from your co-workers, in our case, listeners, to learn from our patients. And you cannot just rely on what is in the textbook. You have to look individual patients as their cases, right? As a person, not just from what you've learned from the textbook. So for me, it's up to the individual which part of learning he wants to pursue as it applies to their individual life. Thank you.
As a lifelong learner, I have the ongoing thirst for knowledge, just like Melvin, and I do not stop learning. I will continue to aspire and will always consider my personal growth and development, and to be open in learning new things and exploring new possibilities. I have the drive and the motivation to do things, to innovate, to experiment, to explore, and of course to adapt to the new norm in order for me to be relevant and productive. This self-directed learning is a personal learning environment, which is a continuous development and improvement of knowledge and skills needed for my teaching, my profession, and at the same time for my personal fulfillment. As a learner, I am curious. I seek out and take advantage of every opportunity that is given to me, so that I can gain more experience, to increase my skills, and to become a greater expert. And I am resourceful about learning, and I also love to seek more and explore more best practices. And as a lifelong learner, I have a social obligations and responsibility. I never stop growing because I believe that I need to learn, and learn.
As a
Alberto,
lifelong
please.
learner,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. As a lifelong learner, one thing I always tell myself is to accept mistakes or shortcomings as part of learning. You see, society has influenced us to rejoice in success and celebrate perfection. That's why you always see, face app making everyone look good. So no matter how our fellow alumni look highly on the folks in this panel, we're not always the best. We don't always win. We don't always succeed. But you see, you don't always find them. You don't always see that because we never post those on Facebook. What we post on Facebook would be our life highlights, never our bloopers. But we do fail. We're so scared to disappoint sometimes ourselves, and for the most part, people around us. But when we fall short, we don't have to punish ourselves so harshly. You see, me and my compañero Marco, we play golf. And one of the things that we both understand is that over a course of probably three times you play so well, you don't understand why you're playing well. You don't know why. You just scored well. But over the next spring, when the next golf season comes and you can't do anything right, it takes you back to the driving range. And that's when the real learning begins. So that makes it a very humbling, game, and life itself can be very humbling. And it is in those times that when we embrace our imperfections, that's when we become great lifelong learners.
Thank you. And Doc J, please.
Wow, the concept of lifelong learner. I think I, as a person, experience the best of both worlds. When I say the best of both worlds, it's because the community I live in and the academic community that I went through. Being a child who comes from one of what we considered as the slum of Cebu, which is I'm very proud to be coming from Dulho, Cebu City. It taught me life. That's learning already. And then CNU campus becomes my playground for academia. There I learn all what I need to learn as a student. And from that point, it taught me the principle what does not kill you makes you stronger. Well, coming from Dolho, well, it's everything that's going on. I thought that was just fun playing Indian Pana. I think that was just my toy. And the academia of CNU, it really helped me to persevere. And that for me is learning. And that value inculcated in me that I have to continue no matter what, because it's not because I don't want to get away from the community where I grow up. It's because I want to contribute back to that community and to be proud that even though it comes from the slum, something comes up from there. So I continue to study, and CNU gave me that opportunity. In fact, I gave you that that concept that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I remember I was a graduate of CSC CCMC, and I was about now to get ready to go to take the NCLEX. I was so afraid if I made it good in the national examination in the US. I even studied. I remember that my reviewer was a Xerox copy because I cannot afford to have a reviewer. And I studied at a Dunkin' Donut at the time. So while I'm doing that studying, I was going to graduate school, and it was Dr. Marcelo Lopez, who's actually my mentor, especially when it comes to lifelong learner. And he inculcated me that, Rigel, padayon yung eskwela, I will make and help and support you, which he really did, especially in my master's degree. But where I'm coming from is that what I learned from life in my community, I applied it with my academic world, and then to the least of my thought that once the fearful graduate nurse to take NCLEX, I become one of the 11 in the United States to make NCLEX throughout the country and Canada. Every time I sit down on that panel that we talk about the board exam, I always say, I thank my background because I never stopped learning. And now I am the standard of the United States when it comes to nursing practice. For me, that's a lifelong learning. Now, I'm still a student. After what I have, I'm still a student in my PhD, my hopefully second doctorate degree, that I can say with confidence to my students in the university that continue to persevere learning as long as you live. You will never stop learning, even if it's life.
Wow. And of course, Attorney Marco, please.
Yeah, as long as we are alive, learning does not stop. So I would just like to echo my compañero, about learning from mistakes. I think that's the best teacher. Learning from our mistakes, personal mistakes, professional mistakes, mistakes of others. And I think mas makapon man ta kung panalitan, nasayop ta, and then we learn from it and we become the better person because of it. And of course, we should not be afraid to take mistakes, because if we're afraid to do things, mahadlok na masayop, then we will never learn, right? And I would also like to echo also Dr. Tan's experience, because if we do a survey sa students Cebu Normal University, I think it's about 98-99% of the students come from the middle class or the lower middle class. So from that real life experience alone, that gives us the learning that is really already there. Learning from our experience of poverty, from the experience of unsa din ang wa kay pamliti, or usahay wa kay ka bayad sa imuhang tuition, or wa kay ka bayad sa imuhang projects. And I have experienced that. In fact, when I was a student of nursing, and I think Nixon, I've told Nixon about this. There were a lot of times nga ako may late makabayad og tuition fee, magpa-enroll, because wala pa may kabayad for my tuition fee. And with that, I really learned. May ko nga, I think I will really do better nga maybe akong mga anak, or maybe ang ubang tao dili ka-feel sa akong na-feel. Nga, the klase na sila dito, niya ako nagbayad pa ko kabayad, ako pa-enroll. I mean, those are learning experiences in real time and in real life. And I think mas kuha na siya, mas ma-treasure na nato ang kanang kind of learning. And as I said, as long as we still live, we never cease learning. One example is just recently I took the COVID-19 contract tracing course. People ask, wala pa makahanang take ka? It's 6 hours. And ko, lang. It's not because ako lingaw, but also because I also want to know on sound din contact tracing, on sound din siyang what's happening with COVID. And those are the things that sometimes I think not only to enrich ourselves in terms of knowledge, but also to be of good use to society. I think that's the very purpose of learning, actually, is not only for your self-enrichment, but also to become an instrument for the upliftment of society. Because I think it's useless if you learn something and you just and it sticks on you and you don't help and you don't contribute it to society, then wala ra gyud gyapon. So I think that's what I can say about being a lifelong learner. Thank you.
Oh my God, very powerful thoughts about lifelong learning. So it's a matter of accepting our own shortcomings, mistakes, and limitations, not only ours, but also of those others around us, immediate or far. Of course, lifelong learning means never having a stop when it comes to the seeking of a kind of learning and retooling of what we need to know and what we need to do. And of course, for us to be very successful when it comes to lifelong learning, I believe that Cebu Normal University also equipped us with the most important skill when it comes to learning. It's the skill of metacognition. Metacognition, of course, is equipping students learning how to learn. It's seeking out the kind of learning that we need to know, we need to gain when it comes to the knowledge and skills. And of course, it doesn't stop there. It is continuing being a student, and it is of course being ahead of others. And being ahead of others would also mean we work side by side with others by being mentors. So I thank you, panelists, and for your thoughts on lifelong learning. And we move on to the third question. Explain the hows and whys on how you tread life that brought you to where you are now.
For me, adapt and reinvent. Is perennial as the grass that finds its way to see the light. Get out of the box. It's always nice to stay in our comfort zones, but life is not defined as such. The only way to get rid of life's annoyance is when you are ready to adapt and reinvent wherever you are thrown to. And that's how I tread light to become where I am now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Life is full of surprises. Challenges come our way, invited or uninvited. But they say that challenges makes our life more colorful and more meaningful. I'm a work in progress on all these things that I'm going to share with you, but I'm trying really hard to learn how to cope up with life. Take one day at a time. Do your best. Whatever you do, just do your best. And don't worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of its own. Remember, we have to make time to appreciate, to enjoy the present, because it is the only thing that we have, the present. Tomorrow is never a promise to anybody. The second thing that I'm working on is pick your own battles. Not all battles are worth fighting for. Look for the most important battle that you cannot afford to lose. This is what you're going to fight for. And those insignificant battles, live it. Let it go. And another thing is celebrate your successes. But I would like to include also the failures, just what like Attorney Albert mentioned a while ago, because that's really very striking. Human nature, we need to be recognized. We need to be appreciated. So give yourself a pat on the shoulder if you have little successes, like for example, during our student teaching lives when we were at Cebu Normal University, if our lesson plan will be approved after one rewrite, because sometimes we have to rewrite it 2 or 3 times. If you were only asked to rewrite for once, then it deserves a celebration. So give yourself a pat on the shoulder. You are able to submit your grades 2 days before the deadline. Good job. Or maybe I would say, because I was I am a student in Cebu Normal University, I am a working student. So when I finished my 4-year course, the bachelor's degree, that was really a big success on my part. Celebrate when, for example, after retaking the driver's examination, at last, I had my license. That deserves another celebration. Because as I have said, it's a human nature. We need to be recognized and appreciated. And the last but not the least, pray. Pray hard. Pray harder. And pray hardest. Because He is in control. He knows the bigger picture. We didn't see at the moment, but He knows the bigger picture. All we have to do is to trust, believe, and wait. Wait, that means we'll arrive in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, please.
I see this question as an opportunity for the panelists to give tips to be successful in life. And my first tip would be to create doable and attainable goals. We were always taught, like, in Cebu Normal University, the SMART thing, the acronym SMART. And I find that some people would set a goal that is not really realistic and not attainable. So I would say, aim for the highest that you can, a goal that's it's possible for you to achieve. Don't set a goal that's impossible, because you will never get there. And in relation to that one, I would say, find out what you love to do and then do it, or work towards it. Because they always say, work is not really work if you love what you're doing. It only becomes work when you don't love it. So find that passion, ignite that passion within you, and then find that thing that you really want to do, and then do it, or work towards it. And the third one is balance life. Don't focus on working too hard. Spend time with family and friends. I'm alone here in the US. I don't have my family, but I have a lot of friends around me, and I always see to it that at times I would go to them and visit them, and go to parties and attend parties, even with this social distancing rule that we have. But we still go, because you have to balance life. You have to be happy. You have to be surrounded with people who understands you, who knows what you're going through. Because it's hard if you are alone and you don't have anyone to talk to. So I would say that is a good tip also. And lastly, a lot of people have mentioned this already in the previous question. Do not be afraid to fail. And I don't have to elaborate on that one. Thank you.
I'm sharing same thoughts with my previous panelists. And one thing I just want to mention is that for me, it's knowing my strengths and limitations. Because knowing my strength enables me to face any opportunities and challenges that comes my way and work for it. And knowing and accepting my limitations also enables me to find ways to overcome them and improve myself. At the same time, there are certain limitations in life wherein you realize that it is time to say no. Although we are always taught don't say no, but based on certain limitations of yourself, there are times to say no and be at peace with such decision and maybe move on to another endeavor in life. We also have a saying, as mentioned by Melvin, that work harder, sometimes not to work not too hard, because there are instances wherein you just have to work smart or smarter than harder. And also in my professional practice and in personal life in general, the College of Nursing mission vision of care using knowledge and compassion has been a guiding principle for us. And I know most of our co-graduates in senior College of Nursing remembers this. And this is basically means that everything you do, you always do use your mind and heart for you to be successful. Thank you.
I would like to tell you first about my whys in life, because this will help us give an idea of what's the reason why I'm here, why I'm in the US. This is because I have in mind to provide a better life for my family and become successful, to live a happy life, and how I did find my way out of attaining my whys. I would like to share this experience with me. Way back then in 2003, after serving the Department of Education in the Philippines for 15 years, 7 years as a classroom teacher and 8 years as a school administrator, I had already a good job, a stable one, being an administrator at the young age of 30. But then when opportunity came that I have to accept a job offered by the New York City Board of Education, which is to be far from my family. So I took the risks, and it was not an easy decision for me to do that time. Looking back, it was rough and a challenging journey. You can just imagine that you have to go back to square one. Being a school administrator, you have to teach, to go to the classroom and adjust yourselves to the new norm. On top of it, the most challenging part of that journey was to pass the 4 licensure exams required of us for us to be able to stay and be given a permanent teaching position in the US, and at the same time being sponsored for your permanent residency status. And thank God, for 4 years and 6 months, we got our green cards and the permanent residency status, and in 2013, we got our citizenship. What I'm sharing this is that this is how we deal with our whys, how we managed to survive in a place wherein there's a lot of challenges, and God has blessed us. God has blessed me a lot, and now I feel like it's time for me to give back what God has given me. And now I'm focusing on the service, because I feel like I have reached my why of giving a better life for my family, and eventually changing that why into having a positive impact on the lives of others. Because according to a famous author page, he said that I want to leave this world better than I found, better than what I have found it, and be remembered by people whose lives I touch. And so basically, it's more of how I deal with this journey.
So one of the life lessons that I've always lived by is something that I learned from my dad, the first generation attorney in my family. Was he has always told me to develop good relationship with people that we meet along life's way. CNU, as a very small school community, allows us to do just that. You see, when you're in CNU, you would know probably a whole generation before you set foot in the school and another whole generation after you leave. In the business world, we call it networking. It is a good thing. Just like my dad, I did enjoy a good relationship with lawyers of various generations and ages and experiences. And it made my job quite a bit easier than it would have been without them. But beyond that, our relationships and our experiences through them make a good part of the character we build as individuals. It allows us to recognize diversities amongst us, thereby allowing us to accept our unique selves, which, by the way, as we remember, is defined or described in the classic song as the greatest love of all. Be it your business or professional mentor, somebody you think highly of, or the Uber driver or the Angkas driver, the bartender, the lady cleaning up your hotel room, I strongly encourage all of us to know them and engage them as equals. Success, achievements, social economic status are all perception. They don't define us as individuals. Mawala ra na inigbali sa hanging habagat. When they're gone, deep relationships and the character they stamp upon us, they're the ones that remain. So let's take care of our relationships.
Thank you, Bert. And we now go on to the next, Doc J.
So hows and whys? Well, for me, how I work for it and where I'm at right now and how I persevere for it is all about what you want to do in your life. Know what you want to do. Don't just trust that chances will bring you there. It won't. You should craft and design your own life and work hard for it and move to it slowly to that direction. Of course, be guided by prayers and your belief. And that is very, very important. That will bring you where you're at. But the biggest work is coming from you. What you think is best for you and what you define life will be will get you there. So I always remember when I started in my nursing profession here, I started as a CNA. And if you know, in the CNA is the lowest level in the nursing profession. But I know I can do better than being a CNA. So I continue my schooling, I pursue my passion until I became a president of the Board of Nursing. So looking back at that, I always remind myself that you have, in doing so, you got to respect others along the way. And I always borrow this principle since I was in high school. In fact, that's what I wrote in my yearbook in high school in CSC or CNU. The yearbook is called Salingsing. So you could find that in Salingsing. Yeah, that's where I wrote it. So I said, speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others. For always, there is a greater and lesser person than yourself. And that's from the Desiderata. I live and believe in that. Even where I go, I know what I want to do, but I always know that I have to respect others or learn from them.
Wow.
So to the question of hows and whys, I think this is question that murag kada adlaw man siguro rin natong ipangutana siguro. Every time we wake up, mag-unsam ko ron. But, I think I would leave that very deep philosophical question. Okay, it's more of, for me lang, it's more of question of um, is an existential question. But I just like to simplify things. Okay, I'm a simple person. I like to simplify complex questions. In this time of COVID, in this time of uncertainties, in this time of fear, I think kining a question would be answered by another question, and that is, after ani tanan, or maybe kung simba ko, what if I get COVID? What if I'm infected? And what if, I perish because of this? And I think ang answer sa hows and whys would be, and I would reiterate what Dr. Inot said earlier, did I change someone else's life because of my good works? Or did I leave this earth a better place than when I found it? So I think that's just how I would encapsulate everything that was previously said. And I think that's just a way of simplifying this question. And I think that's just what we do daily.
Thank you, Marco. Another round of very powerful thoughts. Get out of one's comfort zones. We are works of progress. We must be better versions of ourselves. Do not be afraid to fail. Self-improvement continues. Engage everyone as equals. Don't trust chances. Design your own life. And someone simplified, and that was Attorney Marco. And the question is, am I leaving this earth better than I found it? So thank you so much for your thoughts, and we move on to how do you encourage the CNU school community, particularly the students, on how they will live life in the new normal?
The new normal is very challenging for all of us normalize. I would say take it one day at a time with resiliency. Things happen for a reason, and give it a reason too to survive strong and graceful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jojo.
Embrace change. Do not resist change. I would like, especially at this time, that the mode of delivery is changed. We used to have a face-to-face delivery instruction, but now this time it's very impossible. So, for example, technology. We have to embrace technology, especially at my I would say my age at this time. It's really very difficult on my part. But what can we do? This is life. And don't forget, we just mentioned about being a lifelong learner. This is one of the challenges that we are facing, that I am facing right now. And for the students, of course, nobody was really prepared to face this kind of challenge that we are in. So in my case, we were taught, I would say, required to prepare online classes. We are prepared to teach virtually. And I'm not ready for that. So I have to attend webinars on how to prepare lessons online. I have to attend seminars on what need to be done on all these things. And I'm learning how to do all these things. And at the same time, I'm also teaching my students to access online lessons, to submit, how do you call this one, assignments online. So is it easy? No, it isn't. It is really difficult. It is overwhelming. But what can we do? This is life. We love our students. We love our job. So we just keep on learning. And don't forget, students, everybody, as we move on from wherever we are, we always put respect as one of the I would say, thing that you put in your head. Always respect, no matter who you met, be there your heads or whoever, please, because they are also human beings like you. We deserve to be respected by everybody. And that's it. Thank you.
One thing that I really learned in this pandemic is that health is of utmost importance. Be safe always. That's number one, because everything that we have and everything that we do is dependent on how healthy we are. And the health of your family is also important. So that's number one. So make sure that you are always safe and you're always healthy, because you cannot do anything else if you're not. And then Mama Mai mentioned this, like, educate yourself and be an expert in using technology. It doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are, you can still learn. And this is now the new mode of communication, not just in education, but in other places as well. So be an expert in technology. And always remember that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Keep the faith. Do not lose hope. We have to continue the fight to the end, and we have to be victorious in this journey of ours. And I know we're gonna triumph in the end.
As a health practitioner, I encourage everyone to stay safe and healthy until such time we find a permanent cure and vaccine for COVID. We need to continue to do safe practices of keeping social or physical distancing. And I know Dr. Tan will emphasize social spacing, wearing face masks when in public, or if physical distancing is not possible, as well as frequent hand hygiene. And also to follow advice and recommendations of the experts. To the students of CNU, I would like to say you are very fortunate being educated in one of the best academic institutions in the country. Please use this knowledge and learning as you navigate your life in the new normal. Be open and ready to accept and adapt to these new changes. Otherwise, you will be left behind. And as we live our lives moving forward, let's continue to learn from each other, not only from our successes, but also from our mistakes. Thank you.
Social spacing. Wow. I know.
For me to live life in the new normal, I would like to advise that be cautious at all times and always take an extra care. You stay healthy and always think positively. Have the proper mindset in everything you do, even if sometimes the selling gets rough. Just stay focused and live a normal life. Listen, I would advise you listen to gospel music or even to OPM songs, and this will help you out, and stay away from negativity that might influence your thinking. Always be productive and keep yourself busy of doing things you love doing, you love working. You need to collaborate, seek support from families, from friends, from teachers, from neighbors, whom you believe can help you out if you are in a situation that needs help. Take advantage, just like Amai said, take advantage of any opportunity that is available. Nowadays, you need to be globally competitive. So there are a lot of trainings and workshops, free webinars online. So take advantage of this opportunity, because as teachers, for example, we need to be at par with our colleagues. So we need to learn this new mode of teaching, the remote learning. So we need to learn to teach remotely. Okay. So, and of course, the best thing to do is just to pray. Always spend quiet time for prayers and offer your sacrifices to the Lord, and claim His promise that something good will happen for you in the end. Thank you.
One thing I can assure our CNU community, that this situation is just passing, just like anything else in life. That being said, we also have to be very aware that this can stay for quite a bit longer than what we hope for. So my message to you is, if as much as we can, we should diversify our interests. Academics is great, yes, for sure. But that's not the only thing that matters in life. See, if all I knew was law and lawyering, and you put me in a cave for 3 months like we have right now, I'll be seeking Dr. Jai's help. I guess I would have been calling his clinic every day. But in this pandemic, the ones that thrive better are the ones who have diversified their interests. Learn a sport, learn how to cook, listen, sing, play dance into music, even on your own. Enjoy good humor. Appreciate the arts, crafts, and in my case, even carpentry. Harness the power of technology. Let us take care of our well-being, in short. And with that, I yield the floor to our well-being expert, Dr. Raiko-san.
Yeah, carpentry. I saw that, Bert. I saw that on Facebook. Doc J?
So, what's the take in this pandemic? I think one thing here is that define your own quality of life. Don't allow somebody to tell you what you want to do. You are the captain of your life. Because remember, nothing is constant in this life but change. And knowing that there's a change like what we have, always take care of yourself. Self-care is number one. But as long as you take care of yourself and define your own quality of life, always remember to be adaptable. You have to be flexible in order to accommodate life and the unexpectancies of what it brings you. After all, you've got to enjoy life to the fullest. You only have one life to live.
Kato siya, free to siya ng advice, ha? From Dr.
Free good.
Because if we have to have that advice in his clinic, I think that was $300.
Or even more.
Or even more. But in this, what they call the new normal, I think now is the best time. Now, more than any other time, I think, ang pinaka best time siguro nga we are in this pandemic. Nga naman, because with all the technologies that we have, now that, you know, we're doing the Zoom, imagine lang kung if this happened in 1980 or in 1985, what internet, what Zoom, or what cellphone, diba? What Facebook. So, murag daghan siguro yung matakdan, daghan siguro mamatay na to. Kaya, you know, we would be less informed. So, I think what I can say really in this, you know, new normal, and say new normal is, let us not be afraid. Malang yun siguro na, hey, I mean, we are afraid. That's normal, you know, that's the human nature, you know, the virus being unpredictable. We don't know a lot of things about this virus. Even the experts don't know a lot of things. Pero I think, you know, if we just have to be smart about it, we just have to be more informed about it. There's no reason, you know, we would dwell so much on our fears, because, you know, we have to move on. Life has to move on, and we get paralyzed by our fears, which is, murag si Dr. Tanray madato ana if we get paralyzed by our fears, no, mga psychiatrists magwarta nato. You know, I agree with all what was being said about, you know, being embracing of the challenges, you know, do something good about it. I just learned how to learn how to play guitar, and I learned already 3 songs with this new normal. But then I know all of us, like me, I really long for the day when I get to shake hands with my clients again. I really long for the day when, you know, I see smiles again sa akong mga clients and friends. I long for the day nga, you know, we can, you know, kanang like kauna ba, you know, we can hug, we can we can shake hands, we can show our social intimacy. But for now, it's not happening. But it will happen. It will be back again. Maybe not soon, but it will be back. So, more than ako, let's just not be afraid. And I think that's the whole message that would really encapsulate this one.
Okay, very authentic expressions of personal mental models. And personally, I could say whatever you shared are all worth replicating or emulating. Take one day at a time, be strong and gracious, embrace change, do not resist change. There should be an in-depth reflection on the oft-repeated saying, health is wealth. Leverage from being digital natives to being leverage from being digital immigrants to being digital natives. Stay safe and healthy. And as Dr. Tana said, it is not about social distancing, it is social spacing. We must think positively. We live life as it is the usual normal. And we should also allocate quiet time to pray. And as what Attorney Bert said, this too will pass. However, we should also diversify interests. They sound so basic, but again, these are personal mental models of our panelists that are worth replicating or worth emulating. So thank you very much, and we move on to the last question. If you are to look at the mirror and you are to express your appreciation to CNU, how would you say your thank you to our dear alma mater?
Cebu Normal University, I thank you for the legacy of academic excellence. Thank you for the creation of favorable conditions for personal growth. And most of all, I thank you for the memories of laughter and tears.
Thank you, Cebu Normal University. You prepared me to become a compassionate, committed, and competent teacher. You transformed me into a nurturing person, and you gave me an unwavering support, and you gave me a second home. I am who I am today. I am who I am today because of you. And before I end my sharing this evening, my greetings to Cebu Normal University on its 180th founding anniversary. Daghan kaayong salamat og mabuhay.
Muchas gracias, Cebu Normal University. I would not be who I am right now if it were not for Cebu Normal University. I am forever indebted to this center of excellence, not just in Cebu, but in the whole country, the Philippines. I will always carry the name of Cebu Normal University with pride at all times. I will always be grateful to CNU. Daghan kayong salamat.
Looking at the mirror, I will say Daghang Salamat Cebu Normal University for the weight and the wealth that I have gained through the years because of you. Weight not only in terms of pounds, which obviously for those people who knows me how skinny am I when I was in Cebu Normal, but more importantly about how my opinions and voice carry weight in influencing and mentoring people around me. And wealth in terms of knowledge and experience. All this you have made possible through the academic training, values of dedication and hard work, and professional and leadership experience I received from CNU. And just like Mama Mai, I would like to greet everyone, the CNU community. Happy 118th Foundation Week anniversary. Kabuhay.
Daghang salamat, Cebu Normal University, for the fond memories and for making me what I am today. For the top-notch quality education and the trainings you have provided us that help us face the world with boldness and confidence in everything we do. Thank you for showing me what true servant leadership is and for making me the best version of myself. Cebu Normal University, we hail your name with pride. To you we give our loyalty. Your light will be our guide. Daghan kaayong salamat.
I am and will always be willing and always be super proud of my alma mater. Whenever I have speaking engagements wherever I am in the world, I'll always carry that name as a foundational source of who I am as a person and as a professional. At this time, I'd like to echo the message that I sent just to Ma'am Joy just quite recently. I told her that because I am a sucker for attribution, I always give credit to you among those who had molded me, the way I am as a person. You may not have thought of this way when you were in the classroom, or maybe when it was then more of a wishful thinking for you. But the rewards of what you did for us can often, and just like now, come quite a bit too long. So late as it may seem, daghang salamat Ma'am Joy, CNU, administration, teachers, support staff sa kinatibukan sa akong kasing-kasing. Daghang salamat.
Love you, Bert. Thank you so much.
So, I would say CNU or Cebu State College is the only school I know in my formative years. And with that, before coming over to the United States, I only knew one institution, and that's CSC or the CNU. I left in '94, so it was CSC. So I would say thank you, and every time I step out, it might not be verbally, but every time I step out on my home, I have to stop in the mirror to look the best. How I look for that day, I always remind myself that I have to do good, and I have to be very true to who I am, passionately, at the same time with integrity and grace. And those are the values I learned from CNU. Every day I do my job, I'm giving thanks back to my alma mater, who during my formative years have formed me to who I am right now. So allow me to say this once more, as I have been saying this for the past 20 years. Cebu State College, today we raise our voices in thankful praise. Thy name I shall revere my whole life through.
Wow.
To CNU, daghang salamat sa tanan. I would say I found second home, second family. My classmates to nursing who are until now I remain close with and who are my lifelong friends. Our former teachers, professors, support staff, administrators, sila tanan, they have molded us to become what we are now, and we will not be where we are now kung without the discipline, without the love, and without the support that we got from them. So I think that's the last thing we could say. Just thank you, and we can show that by the life we lead, by the legacy that we will leave, and by being productive members of society. And that's how we can show that we are products, that we are to wear the fruits of the CNU excellence. And again, Ma'am Joy, thank you for this opportunity. And I think ikaw rin yun siguro makagather aning tanan-tanan namo, ma'am. Without you, murag di yun siguro, ma'am. So again, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, Mark. And you still owe me a trip to DC, right? And you were one of the last persons I saw personally before we went remote, or we went lockdown. But anyway, very meaningful expressions of gratitude. And you may agree or disagree with me if I would say, CNU, You have been our home when we needed it most during our formative years. But before you go, before we end, I have a one last thing to do for me. Let's do fast talk. CNU is only in one word. CNU is, or Cebu Normal University is. Let's do fast talk. Whoever would like to start,
Love.
it's okay. Go, Melvin, go.
Love.
Home.
Love.
CNU
My
is great.
Jo.
CNU is my rock.
Foundation.
I should say home again.
Life.
CNU, my pride.
CNU family.
Hope.
Sir Mar? Mar? Are you still there?
CNU is great.
CNU is great. Right. So we all agree that CNU, as sturdy as its pillars, CNU is home. CNU is family. CNU is our heart. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, but please stay on for a little while as we would like to have our honoring of CNU and of course the men and women of the Cebu Normal University alumni in North America, and that includes USA and Canada. Today we were fortunate to pick the brilliant minds of our panelists. Lest I may forget something when I recap what they have shared with you, but I am very sure that all of them, all of us, all alumni would say that CNU has indeed been our home. Salamat kaayo Cebu Normal University. You strengthened our wings to be able to soar high and far. CNU is the reason why we thrive, lead, and serve. This has been Conversations, which was brought to you by the Cebu Normal University alumni in North America. That is both USA and Canada. This is Joy Tagalog. I thank you for making me a part of your Monday afternoon. Daghang salamat, Cebu Normal University. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us around 23 plus 2, um, Cebu Normal University, alumni from almost all over the world. We have from people from Canada, of course, a lot of us from the United States, and we also from New Zealand. So we thank you. And this is a mix of educators, nurses, and attorneys, and who are all world-class CNU alumni. So I would like to request the president of the Federation of Cebu Normal University Alumni Association president to say a few words. I know I just requested him to get out from his meeting to, of course, join us quickly. And for your information, we also had to stop our recording for the forum or the panel discussion because we know a lot of our fellow alumni are already on board. So thank you, Dr. Itiko, and could you hear something from you?
Okay, good. I think it's good evening there. I just left the meeting. We're now having a board meeting with the members, officers of the Federation of Cebu Normal University Alumni Association, and I had to leave them for this invitation. I sincerely thank Dr. Joy Calog for this invitation, and for me, this is an opportunity to be with you because you are really part of the organization, and that having you would certainly give an ingredient, a flavor to the existence of the FCNU AAI. When I delivered my message, a virtual message during the anniversary celebration, I emphasized that Cebu Normal University is great in Cebu, great in Region 7, great in the entire country and the entire world. And when we speak about entire world, your presence in the United States is contributory to that pride that Cebu Normal University is indeed successful in its mission to produce quality graduates, and you are there for years now, proving to the entire world that CNU alumni are always great. I sincerely thank you for that passion, the vigor, the dynamism to be part of this group. Despite the pandemic, you are there projecting, manifesting your love to the university. And I hope to engage with you in the morrows to come, and I hope to include you in the undertakings of the organization despite the situation. I just would like to share to you what challenges us right now in FCNU and FCNU AAI is the membership, because the organization could not stand without the funds. So we are now looking into the possibility of still requesting our graduates to contribute or to pay the membership fee regardless of the situation, and collecting the fees is a challenge. So again, I sincerely thank you for this invitation, Ma'am Joy, and I hope to hear success stories from your organization, a chapter of the USA and Canada. And I know with Dr. Kalob leading the group, you will always project successes, not only in your personal lives there, but of course as one whole family, the products of Cebu Normal University. Be safe, everyone there, and I hope to see you in Cebu Normal University campus maybe next year, the following year, or anytime you're free to move here. Thank you, Ma'am Joy.
Thank you, Ramir. Let me ask you, I mean, I'm just so sorry. I mean, I usually, both of us, we don't always like to talk about the how much. How much is the contribution in Philippine money?
That's 300 pesos, Ma'am Joy, but 100 is for the ID and 200 is for the membership fee.
It's annual?
No, that's one-time membership fee, but every year during the alumni homecoming gathering, there is a contribution for the food and other miscellaneous.
Okay, thank you for clearing that out. of course, we have a chat group. We also have the FB group message, FB group messenger group with among ourselves, and of course an FB group page. So we will discuss that. But we thank you. Unfortunately, others could not make it. They're still at work. But Dr. Itico, please inform the group that you are in right now. I know you have a board meeting with the FCU and AA, that among those who are here right now are medical frontliners. A big round of applause. I know
Yeah.
for courage. We have Jerusha there. We have Dr. J. We have Attorney Marco, who is also a nurse. Junelle, thank you. Giuseppe, and of course, Dr. Haley, also, since she's also a dentist, and other frontliners. We know that their courage, their perseverance, and of course, their passion for work and their dedication, and of course, would matter a lot to make all our respective communities to operate day by day, and of course, the saving of lives. And among us here also are educational frontliners, and I thank them because it's a different kind of a frontline. Young kids in America need some kind of socio-emotional learning support, but now that we have gone remote, it's really a very difficult task. Joja, how I wish this is not virtual. I know you cook well after you go to work, after your duty. Wow, pagkaswerte sa bana. So some of us here are just meeting for the first time, but there are common denominators among us. One is me, and again, I thank you. There are first timers also. We do hope that we continue to connect and reconnect. And for the information of others, there are those here who, and that's Melvin and Jojo, who really emphasized to Dr. Oitico way back in 2018 that if possible, the reunion would be moved to between first week of July and middle of August. But there were some kind of modifications for the fact that for those whose states really open early for a new school year, then those who have children or those who already have grandchildren, they have to go back for school. So again, Dr. Itico, thank you for the accommodation. Hopefully, again, it will be in the time wherein we are able to attend the grand reunion. Last year, we were able to do it. There were 21 of us. Some of you who are here missed it by one day or even for some kind of hours, just because, you know, if it's really time to come back to our respective second homes, we really have to. But again, Dr. Itico, our prayers, stay well. And all of those in this quick gathering of former classmates or friends, and of course, alumni of Cebu Normal University, world class, CNU for the world, to the world, daghang salamat gyud kaayo.